Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another one-man review. Today I have Unreal City by DJ Bryant. This is another one of the books that I picked up in Fantagraphics Fantabucks sale. I pre-ordered everything from Fantagraphics that I want for the rest of the year and then cashed out the gift certificates for a bunch of books that I thought looked interesting or books that I've been wanting for a while. DJ Bryant is someone whose art I've seen in the Now, I believe in the Now anthologies once or twice, and really liked his stuff, so I had to grab this one. Really love the color on the cover. It's got like a photographic effect, even though it's like pretty simple line art and flat colors. Most of the book is a black and white book with this. The art style I'd best say is like Dan Clowes, Charles Burns, and then there's kind of like a bit of Brian Boland in there too. Something about it, maybe because he goes into more detail with the backgrounds and stuff. It feels Brian Bolandy to me. Maybe it's just some of the way that he draws women's faces. But the stories are always like these bizarre, surreal. It's like if those three artists illustrated David Lynch scripts, I guess. It's a bunch of short stories. They're always unsettling your sense of reality. Like characters will swap places. They'll wind up being in, someone else's body. But there's always like young men going after attractive young women. He draws these really nice kind of mod looking gals, I guess. But you get things where like he's realizing that maybe he's her. Just these weird things that unsettle reality. They're all very strange. I have to be careful flipping through the book because it is a pretty sexually explicit book, and that seems to be one of DJ Bryant's main motivations for the stories, is coming up with like a surreal package within which to justify some sexually explicit activity, or that the sexually explicit activity is always kind of like the impetus for the fracture in reality. So in that sense, it seems a little too close to, comics from the 90s where it's like young stressed out men trying to get laid, sexual fantasy playing out in comic artists playing out that. Story wise, not so into that, but they're all such well told stories that it doesn't really matter to me. I was reading this right before I went to bed, and I did wind up having a bunch of strange dreams and woke up feeling a bit unsettled this morning. So I think the book like got into my mind, which is good. They're very effective, and the art's killer. DJ Bryant is obviously a really amazing artist, really powerful cartoonist, great sense of composition and layout, great control of his tools. The stuff looks like it might be photographically referenced, but then enough not where you think, oh, he's just really good and he can make this stuff up. Some really cool panel layouts like this little kid from The Shining on the bike type of thing running around. Here you can see some of the real Charles Burns vibes to that, black hole vibes, some more of the strange stuff. This is a lot of the narratives like loop. This is another weird narrative loop. Let me see if I can, this page here, he actually like brings in color in very weird and strange spots. The end of this story also has like a really cool just bit of color in there. So I like that he does that, he'll do things for interesting effect, unexpected things. And as you can tell by the cover, it's just a really great colorist. So as much as I love all the black and white art, I wouldn't mind seeing some more full color stuff. There is one story in here which is in full color and switches more into like a Jetsons-y type of cartooning, which is cool because it shows Bryant's power as a cartoonist. Also kind of some tricky formalism. So they're walking into this gallery, which is like temporally designed. Again, he's very into narrative loops. All the stories kind of have that. So here you walk into the building and you can kind of like read up this way, but you can read also this way, and it's following the pattern of the building they're in. So you can see that there. Some cool formal trickery. It's nice to see stylistic variety. Again, that influence, I think, from like Dan Clowes, someone who plays a lot with style. Let's be careful, open to the right page here. Again, you see, like, to me, that's a very Dan Clowes face, very Charles Burns. this is where I start to see maybe like the Brian Boland type of stuff. Super Dan Clowes here. I was really happy to see a shout out to Modesty Blaze, which is a strip, a British strip that I stumbled across while we were doing Strange Death of Alex Raymond. We don't talk about it in the book, but I'm gonna blank on the guy's name. Really good stylized photorealist art in that strip. It would be cool to get a really nice reproduction of that, because that guy's art is very impressive. So I was excited to see that. But then you fall into this thing where, you know, this character is a comic artist, and you see him working on his art, and he's kind of obsessing, turning his girlfriend into the character, and then another character, you know, falls in love with her when she's in costume. So when she's in that, and they loop back around. So this is where it devolves a little bit for me back into that kind of 90s trope of cartoonists just making comics about being cartoonists about cartoonists. I mean, I really like having the pages put in here like that. Like, that's a cool look. But I don't know, that it just feels like, yeah, you read a little bit too much of that era. And then right here, he's talking about, this was interesting to me. He's talking about, well, he has an affair with the cartoonist. This character has an affair with the cartoonist's girlfriend, and then she ghosts him, and he later in life finds the comic strip that the guy was drawing based on her in the costume he had met her in, and so he starts copying the Leon Liddell style, which to me is the Lloyd Llewellyn style. I think he's referencing Dan Clowes with that. So he starts copying the style, and then he finds out all of the Leon Liddell comics and becomes kind of obsessive, and then becomes really good at mimicking that guy's style, which is strange in a book where it's a cartoonist who's mimicking Clowes' style. I almost wonder if DJ Bryant like fucked Clowes' girlfriend at some point, and that was like why he became a serious artist. Like, that's almost what this last story feels like, is an admission that, or he just got obsessed with the girl, and you know, maybe one of the girls out of Ghost World or something. It feels like autobiographical in this instance, just because it's so much about cartoonists. And it's more, you know, I don't know. This one's very strange, and he shows up himself in the story as well. Again, I got to be careful flipping through, but the artist shows up in the story at some point by name, although he's not an artist in the book. So this one feels like some kind of spell he's casting or admission he's making. I don't know. It's very strange, but yeah, it's a really enjoyable book. Beautiful reproduction. I mean, I don't even need to sell the art. I don't think the art's just obviously really beautiful. As far as I can tell, this is the only book that he's put out so far. Can I flip to this page? We'll just flip to another page. Whew, we're safe. As far as I can tell, this is the only full-length book that's out by DJ Bryant, but I'm really looking forward to more. I mean, he's obviously a great cartoonist and obviously committed to it. So yeah, amazing book. If you want to check out another book that really plays with, you know, artists manifesting their ideal women and the consequences that causes, make sure, if you haven't got it already, to check out the book I did with Dave Sims, Strange Death of Alex Raymond. Another book with nice black and white art. Another book with like artists doing comics and comics within comics within comics. Yeah, definitely something that you need to pick up, and keep an eye out for the other books that Sean has forthcoming: Yuichi Yokoyama's Plaza, Eric Creek's The Exile, and Emil Van de Peet's Centralia. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.